Hello, scrappy friends. Welcome back and welcome to the second cropping day of Christmas. So if you saw the first video, you saw that I created a kit and I'm going to do 12 days of cropping Christmas photos. Each day I'll be adding one more photo. So for example, today is the second day and I will do a single page layout using 2 photos. So thank you for joining me today. Let's get right into it. So I'm using the Creative Memories 110 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketchbook to do each of the layouts. I'll pick out a sketch and recreate it using different tools and different paper and see what we come up with. So today I am going to be working on page 22 and it's right here. I'll go ahead and pop that up on the screen so we can take a closer look at it. So this is a tilted layout. This is kind of out of the box for me. I love the look of it. It's just I do things a little bit more linear in my scrapbooks, but every once in a while, that is the great thing about sketches. It's kind of gets you out of your box and trying something new. So I'm gonna give this a try and I know I'm gonna like it because look at their inspiration. It's so cute and playful. So what do we need? We have a background piece. You can use pattern paper like they did and like I will be doing today, or you can just use a piece of regular cardstock or even your album page. And that piece obviously is straight and in the book straight on like normal. And it's the 2 blocks in the center of the page that are then tilted. And for that you can use, again, pattern paper for both of those, or you can do a mix of pattern paper and cardstock, whatever your choice. Then there's 2 borders on this, and I love that. They have one going diagonal across the edge. I like that from top to bottom. I think that's spectacular. And then across the center, they have another border that actually houses their title, and I love that. And then they got 3 photos on here. You can see 3 photos fit very nicely, but since this is day 2, I will only be putting 2 photos on. Then they have their 3 embellishment clusters. So a simple and fun layout for today. So come on back to my desk and I'll show you what I'm gonna use. So in the first video, I already went over all the papers that I added to my kit. So if you wanna go back and look at that, I'll have that linked at the end of this video. But it explains all about the paper choices that I use. But if you have a specific question on any of the papers I'm using, please feel free to put a comment in the comments and I will certainly get back to you and let you know specifically which paper pack it came from. Okay, so these are my choices today. I'm going to use this beautiful blue plaid as my background piece for today, and this piece that has a lot of holiday words on it, this beautiful gold with ornaments, a scrap of blue, light blue paper, and I'm going to be bringing in the Snowflake Circle border making cartridge today. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Pop that sketch up here in the corner so we can follow along. Also, I've been putting the blog post for the original blog. If it has one, it'll be linked in the description of the video so that you can click right there and go see the inspiration. You won't always see the sketch. Sometimes you have to hunt for the sketch, but you'll at least see the inspiration and the typed up directions. And in the typed up directions, they often tell us what sizes they used. So I'm going to cut a 10-inch by 10-inch square out of this beautiful light blue word paper. Okay, so there's my 10-inch square. Now for the next piece, it looks like in the sketch that they have 2 10-inch blocks, but when you read the blog post, you'll see that it's a 10-inch L shape. So we're gonna gut this paper to give it the representation of an L shape. So I'm gonna do about 2 inches. I found works pretty good. I'll start at the top and I'm going to come down here to the 10-inch. And then I probably will still need to trim it once we're done, but I want to kind of gut this paper out so I don't waste any. Got a lot of layouts to do. I need to save my paper. I'm going to turn it and bring it into the 12-inch as well. This time I'm going to bring my blade right up here to where my cut line is and do that. That gives us the L-shaped cutout. Okay, and like I said, we're going to probably have to trim that a little as we go, but let's see what we have now. Here's our 10-inch block, and what they did in the inspiration was they have the blue, they have the background piece straight, and then this one is tilted like that. And then here's where we'll bring in this bottom piece. And yep, I'll need to take off a little bit at the top up here and at the bottom. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a mark here with my pencil. Okay, so I'm going to tuck this right under here. Now this, I actually went back and measured this side to be 10 inches and that side to be 10 inches. I wanted to have it just a little inset like that, and I think I like that much more. And then I'm just going to tilt the top page a little more at an angle, so I have a little more exposed here and a little more of the yellow exposed here, and it's a little tighter right there. I know these are just crazy. You just do what you like on your page. Okay, so I'm trying to keep this back part straight and then tilting that ever so slightly. Okay, so for my photos today, I'm going to bring in 2 photos of one of each of my daughters, and they are enjoying the Yule log. So a few years back, probably right around this time, my husband started making a kind of a bigger deal out of whenever he would start the first burning of a Christmas log around the Christmas season, and he would kind of make a big deal about it. So here they are in front of the Yule log, so the first fire we had that season. Okay, so I'm keeping pretty traditional to the sketch. I want to have one up here at the top over this way, and I'm going to scoot that one, the one at the bottom, over to the right, kind of like that. I'm still going to play with photo placement as I bring in the border strips that I'm going to use. So for the one across the center is where I'm going to bring in the Snowflake circle border making cartridge. So for that, I'm going to bring in the light blue paper that I had, just one punch out. But I went with the blue on this because I just had the other blue tones with my background piece of paper and the text paper here, so I thought blue would go pretty well with this. So I'm going to have it like that. I will trim this off over here a little bit so it falls within probably this yellow piece back here and end right about the edge of the blue text paper here. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, now let's bring in the second border that I'm going to have run diagonally across the page, and for that I'm going to bring in this red poinsettia border, and then I'm just going to run it right down the edge so it will be at an angle like they did in the sketch. I like that. And let me bring these back into a position, and I do want to mat these, so for that I'm going to get some navy blue paper and get a mat on both of these photos. There we go. I like that a lot. It really helped pop out those photos. And my photos are not 4x6, they're actually 5x4. Okay, so if you're wondering about photo placement on yours, that's because that is a little bit different than what they have in the sketch up there. What am I gonna do for title and journaling? Well, journaling, I liked what they did. They had their journaling right down here, and I do have a little bit lighter piece of paper that I could write on. So I'm gonna do the same thing because I don't really have too much to say. So that's where my journaling is gonna go. As far as my title, I liked how in the inspiration they have it going right across. Now, of course, they had a banner that said something, and I didn't have anything that was fitting. So I went ahead and put that punch out there, and I'm gonna bring in these words from my kit that I put together. This is just some like wood grain chipboard type stickers, and it's right now it's just on the backing that it came on, and I will be taking it off and putting it right across the blue snowflakes, and it'll look well, it'll look something like this. So you'll still be able to see the snowflakes under there, and I'll just line it up nicely like that. So that's going to be my title. It says warm and cozy. I thought that was perfect. That's a journaling and titling. And other than that, we can get to our embellishing. But I'd like to take a moment, if you're enjoying this video and this series, to please go ahead and click that like button. I really appreciate when you do that, and I thank you for doing that. And now we'll get back to our embellishing. Okay, so on the inspiration, they have some here and a little bit down here. I think I'm going to focus on only 2 embellishment areas. I'm going to do one up here and then one down here. So let's start with the top one. So for the top one, I thought, well, I really want to bring in some more red because there's red in our background piece. So I went ahead and was pretty bold with those poinsettias. It's quite a bit of red added to my blue layout. So I thought, why not bring in some of these ornaments and add a little bit more red? So I really liked the cardinal, but then I thought, well, it needs a little bit something to pop it out. So I thought adding 2 of them together would be perfect. And I like that. I think that that's all I'm going to do up there. I just wanted to really bring in the red so my poinsettias don't look like they're kind of standing out and they don't fit in the layout. So I like that. It also brings in some more gold. Now let's move on to this area down here. And this is making it so easy because I had all these items already pulled out in my stash. So it was super easy just to kind of dig through and kind of get a feel for what was it I wanted to pull in. Okay, so I wanted to pull in this blue tag. I have a lot of blue going on, so I felt like blue is perfect for this layout. And I love the little tree, and I love that it says 'tis the season. So all in all, a perfect little tag. And I'm gonna come right over here. I liked how in the inspiration they kind of placed it over this border strip here, and I thought so that would be great because it kind of then breaks up some of that red that I have in here. And then my favorite embellishment that I'm going to add is this little Christmas sticker. This is a vintage Creative Memory sticker. I probably never thought I was going to get this used, but here we go. It's perfect. I have it on the sticker backing right now, but I just cut it off to bring it into this layout. So yep, super excited about that. I get to get that used. I like my tag, so I don't want to cover up too much of it, but probably just do something like, let's see, I could overlap a little bit of the branches. There, I like that. Okay, and then in my kit, I had this little ornament. I made a few of these last year, and here's one that I had left over, and I'll show you how to make this in a second, but I'm going to take this one and tuck it in right there, and then just let those strings hang over. Probably put them a little tilted like that. And there we go. So I'm going to pause and get all this adhered down, but while I do that, I'm going to show you how to make that little ornament, okay? So hold on. Okay, so here's a little tutorial on how to make that super cute embellishment that I just showed. It's using the 1 3/4 inch square punch, and I just punch out 1 square, and then I take the corner rounder and I use the actual rounded edge, and I'm going to just, I turn it like a diamond, and I'm going to corner round both the outside edges. There we go. That gives us the look of the diamond. And then to get the little cap, I used a piece of bronze shimmer paper and my 12-inch trimmer, and using one of the blades on the back, I believe I used the wave, and I kind of cleaned up my paper a little bit, and I'm just going to take off a small piece here, enough to give it that embellished look of a wave or a scallop, and then bring this back in, and I'm just going to adhere it just so it covers both sides of the diamond. Okay, and there we go. And then I'm going to turn it over and give it a trim. Super simple idea. There we go. That one's a little bit bigger than I had on the previous one, but you can play with the size. I used some repositionable tape, so let's go ahead and move that up. Give it another trim and turn it around. There we go. So it's just a little cap. And then for the hole, I used a hole punch, the small little hole, and just went through both layers and then brought in some embossing thread and looped it through there to give it the little tassel. So you can use any kind of thread that you want. But there is how I made it. So super fun, super quick, and super simple. So let me come on back to the layout and we'll get going. Okay, so here's my layout. Here's how my title came out. I'm glad I had a little bit of a wave to the border so that I didn't have to be so straight with my title. I think it's much more fun and playful to have it crooked and a lot easier to adhere because I didn't have to worry about it being super straight. Everything else was straightforward as it was when I left. Adding this border was probably the hardest, and it wasn't even hard at all, but I just wanted to make sure that I don't have too much of the paper poking out behind it, and hopefully none at all. That was the only thing I was looking for when I was adhering. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some finishing touches. I brought in some little word stickers. I brought in some more vintage stickers and these little stars. An embellishment pack that I have in my kit, and it's the Christmas colors, and they already have some dimension. I thought it would be fun to put them right here. They're on the little backing that they came on right now. But something right around there just to kind of bring in some more colors and just another little interest down there in that cluster. I like the pine cones. Now I added wood here, a little bit of that light wood grain for the title. Down here in this cluster I have a little bit of brown from the wood in the fire and the sack around the tree. So I thought it would be kind of fun to bring in a pine cone up here just so that I have some brown represented. Okay, and then from the word stickers, there was some great ones on here. There's one here that says by the fire, and of course these are all Christmas colors, but I even like the blue would be perfect. So let's see if there's anything. Oh, let's see. I don't really see anything specific in blue. A lot of Merry Christmas and 'Tis the Season, which I already have used down there. But in red, we have by the fire. We also have gather around the fire. I think I'm gonna go with by the fire and bring it up to this cluster up here. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so there we go. And that's my layout. I'll show you. Here is a close-up of this cluster. And now here's a close-up of this little cluster up here. And that's my layout for the day 2 of the 12 cropping days of Christmas. I hope that you enjoy that. I hope that you give this layout a try. It's super fun. It wasn't so bad, right? Being tilted like that. Thank you for joining me today, everybody. I really appreciate it. And like I said, I'll link that first video right over here, as well as another video that might be of some motivation and inspiration for you. So thank you for joining me, and I'll come back in a couple days. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.